Jeremiah chapter 19. And remember in chapter 18, Jeremiah was told to go to the potter's house and witness the potter making a pot that got deformed and had to be reshapen and reworked. But we're in chapter 19, and now God told. Remember last week God told Jeremiah to go get an earthen bottle, get a formed bottle, and in chapter 19, a finished, usable vessel, okay? A pot, an earthen pot, and you know, gather together all the representatives of the people, get them all together, and go out to the Hinnom Valley, where the garbage dump was, okay? For the Jewish people, for Jerusalem was the garbage dump. And go out there and preach a message to all the representatives, you know, the representatives of the people, if you will, the Congress. Preach to the Congress, and you know, see if you can get the Congress to listen. And does that ever happen these days? Anybody preach to the Congress these days and have them listen? No? Well, that's going to happen with these guys too. With the elders of the priests, elders of the people. So we come down to verse 10, okay? And Jeremiah is preaching and telling them all the stuff that's going to happen to Israel, okay? And all of the disaster and all of that's going to happen. Come down to verse 10. Now God tells Jeremiah, break the pot. I mean, smash it to bits. Throw it down. In verse 10, then shalt thou break the bottle in the sight of the men that go with thee. You're going to break the bottle. Okay? You know, you've got this in chapter 18. You've got the image of you know, the potter forming the pot and getting it, you know, fixed and ready to go, but having to work on it, and you know, working on us. He's still working on us. Okay? So, but now break the pot. And of course, you know, I mentioned this last week that the archaeologists really love those broken shards of broken pots. They love those. They go, you know, they go find those, and they can find out when they were made, who made them, all of that sort of stuff. So, and I'm sure the archaeologists have been all through that Valley of Hinnom, okay, and the garbage dump out there, and you know, looking for stuff. I'm sure they have. But now break the pot, and shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts. Okay? He's telling guys that should know all of this stuff. They should know that when thus saith the Lord, it's going to happen. Okay? And these are the representatives of the priests. The priests should know this too. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, even so will I break this people and this city. I mean, you know, similar thing, you know, in broken pieces. You can't use this broken pot. They didn't have super glue at the time, okay? They could not glue this pot back together. And, well, that is one thing that the archaeologists try to do. They do, you know, since they have all the, you know, the fancy super glues and all that sort of stuff, that they can, you know, glue some of these pots back together and get parts of them back together. But he's going to break the people the same way and the city, okay? As one breaketh a potter's vessel that cannot be made whole again. Okay? Even the archaeology, they can fit bits and pieces together, but they can't make a whole pot back together again. And they shall bury them in Tophet. Okay? That's burial ground. Now, I've been looking up, in several of my sources. I don't find, I'm missing something somewhere. I don't find Tophet anywhere.
Oh, just wish to ask you, can you show me more about Tophet? You said you can't.
I looked up in like my my encyclopedia. I didn't go on. I did not go online to look up Tophet, but I've got a couple of other books. Who's who and where's where in the Bible. Tophet is not mentioned. It's I'm assuming burial ground. Okay. And they shall bury them in Tophet. Till there be no place to bury. Remember, Jeremiah has already told them that the destruction would be so complete that they won't be able to bury. There will be bodies, so many bodies, when Jerusalem is conquered and Israel is conquered, that they won't be buried. They will be meat for the fowl, up in verse 7, meat for the fowls of the heaven and for the beasts of the earth. There'll be no place to bury. And they'll fill up Tophet.
Is it Jeremiah verse 7?
Huh? Jeremiah chapter 19 and verse 11. 19, we're down in verse 11. Thus will I do unto this place, saith the Lord, and to the inhabitants thereof. I'm going to break you up and even make this city as Tophet, a burial ground, a dump heap. Okay? The Valley of Hinnom is going to be renamed the Valley of Slaughter, and so it's going to be a mess, destructive mess. Find it?
Yeah.
Okay. And the houses of Jerusalem and the houses of the kings of Judah shall be defiled as the place of Tophet. Okay? Now, if you don't have any place to bury anything, and people are dying and they're not getting taken care of, okay? They die in their house. If they die in their house, their house becomes defiled. And remember, people were not supposed to touch dead bodies. Back in the law of Moses, the first 5, they were not supposed to touch dead bodies because that made them unclean. Anybody that touched dead bodies were made unclean. And that's the picture here. They are defiled. Their houses are made unclean, and the place of Tophet is unclean because of all the houses upon whose roofs they have burned incense unto all the host of heaven. Okay? Like I said, that's why the Jewish people are in trouble. They'd get up. Well, one of the places they would get up to worship Baal and all these other gods that they're worshiping, besides the one true God. Okay? They get up there on the roof, burn incense. They have little grottos in their house where they burn incense. They have a little piece of property. Maybe, if you're wealthy enough, you have a little piece of property where you've planted some trees in a grove of trees, and burned incense unto all the host of heaven, and have poured out drink offerings unto other gods. You get a little wine, pour it out for your other gods, and offer that to them, and of course, take a big sip. Verse 14. Then came Jeremiah from Tophet, whither the Lord had sent him to prophesy. Okay. I have it. Like I said, couldn't find, in my stuff, mention of Tophet, but, and I think I mentioned this last week, that it was probably, the same, another name for the valley of Hinnom, or Gehenna, which was the Roman name. So I have a feeling that Tophet is just another name for the same place, Jerusalem's garbage dump, whither the Lord had sent him to prophesy, and he stood in the court of the Lord's house. Okay. Now he goes back in to Jerusalem proper, and he's standing in the court of the temple. I mean, temple is right there. He's standing in the court, and it's in Solomon's temple, in this magnificent temple, which will very soon literally be destroyed. Okay? And said to all the people, "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I will bring upon this city and upon all her towns all the evil." Okay? God is really upset. He is TO'd, ticked off. Okay? And his patience has run out. That's why they're going to go through 70 years of slavery in Babylon. Upon all the towns, all the evil that I have pronounced against it, because they have hardened their necks, that they might not hear my words. Okay? They're not listening. They're not paying attention. They're so stubborn. Some people get so stubborn that you can't tell them anything, and I get that way too. Sometimes I get that way, but that they might not hear my words. Okay, so we finished the chapter, and finished the chapter.